These things are almost impossible to read. I don't know about you guys, but I got more pictures of things that I can't read. Yeah, this is only a 4 amp fuse. Yeah, that's only a 4 amp fuse. This must have been replaced. A lot of this stuff was my dad's stuff. So I couldn't find a 10 amp fuse. I'm just going to put a 15 in it. These meters are so cheap, if I burn it up, I'll throw it away. Yeah, it's definitely been taken apart because it only had 2 of the 4 screws in it. It could have been me. And I love this little screwdriver kit. It's got all kinds of little bits and stuff. And then this one will extend out. So you can really get into some tight spots with it. This is, I guess it's Oria, Oria, O-R-I-A. And it comes with all these bits. Well, and a lot more of them, but I seem to have misplaced several of them. But yeah, they're nice. Just don't, if you get them out of sync with where they are when they come, good luck. So we replaced the wrong fuse with the wrong fuse, and instead of going down by 6 amps, we went up by 5 amps. So it's supposed to have a 10 amp, but now it's got a 15. So that should work to test and do what I'm wanting to do. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I don't know if you saw the video a couple weeks ago that I did where I installed the remote control into this dump trailer, and I got to thinking, went down the rabbit hole on this one. This thing's always listening. It's kind of like the government. So in order to always be listening, it has to draw some type of current. Is that going to be enough to kill the battery if it sits for an extended period of time? I also got to thinking, well, I've got a battery charger that I have down in this box that's always connected to the battery, and if it's not plugged in, will it kill the battery if it sits for an extended period of time unplugged? So again, the more I got to thinking, the deeper the rabbit hole got, and I said, well, what about these other chargers? I got this battery minder. If it's not plugged in but connected to the battery, will it drain the battery versus help the battery? And then I also got this little smart charger from Amazon that you can change, whether it's lithium, AMG lead, or a LiFePO battery. So what happens if it's plugged in but disconnected? I'm going to break this up into 2 different videos. I'll post links in the description back and forth to the videos. First one I'm going to get started on is this remote control. So I've got my voltmeter / amp meter. I went and had to change the fuse out in it because somehow it had a 4 amp fuse where a 10 amp fuse was supposed to go, but I got that swapped out. So very quickly I'm going to take and do a test on that, and we're going to see what kind of current draw that has, and then I'll do some calculations to figure out how long it would take to drain the battery if this just sits listening for a signal from this remote control. So let's get started on that. Now this should be a very simple test. I've got my voltmeter / amp meter here with my 2 probes, and I've got it on the 10 amp side. Let me take my glasses off here. 10 amp side, and what I'm going to do is just pull this fuse and put the positive on the battery side and the negative on the load side. So this does have a draw just sitting there. It's actually 0.004. It's switching between 4 and 2 amps. So we'll just call it, well, I'll say 4 and 2, 0.004 and 0.003. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. Shut up, Duke. Yeah, so I've been watching this for a while, and it is 0.002, 0.004, swapping between 2 and 4. So we're just going to call that 0.003 amps. I don't think this has a scale to be able to change it, but that's good enough to where we can run some calculations on that. So with that being said, if I grab this remote control, what kind of draw is on this thing when it's going down and then going up? So I'm going to go up first. So it looks like when I'm going down, which I'm under it, so I got to be careful. When I'm going down, Looks like 1.5 amp. About 1.5 amp going down. So when I'm going up, yeah, there's about 2 amps coming out of that. So that's down. And that's up. So we're going to call it 0.003 amps sitting there listening. We're going to call it 2 amps going up and 1.5 amps going down. See, this is interesting. Now that I have ran this for a little bit, we're at 0.007. So it's sitting right now at 0.007 amps. Now this remote control is flashing, so that means that it's in like listen mode or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what mode it is, but with the remote control on, this thing's ready to receive an up or a down signal. Now if I turn that off, we're still at 0.007. All right, so it just went back down to flashing between the 2 and 4. So after you use it, it'll go 0.007 amps for probably about 2 to 3 minutes. And then it goes back into its listen state, which is, we're going to call it 0.003 amps. All right, it's been sitting here for a while and we're still flipping between 0.2 and 0.4. Every now and then I'll see well, actually 0.00. 3.004. Now this is on the amp scale. This one doesn't actually allow me to adjust that, but I can adjust that in my head just by moving the decimal points. So that puts us at, we'll call it 3 milliamps. So this thing draws 3 milliamps of current when it's in its listening state. Now this battery says it will do 130 minutes at 25 amps. Now this is more of a starting battery, not a deep cycle. Obviously you don't want to drain any battery down below about 10 volts. So anyway, at 130 minutes at 25 amps, if we just assume this is 2.5 amps for simple math, that's going to move our decimal points 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So we'll add 4 zeros to 130. So 130. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1.3 million minutes. And then if we divide that by 60, that's 21,666 hours. And then if we divide that by 24, it's 902 days that this would take to kill that battery. You know, 2.5 or 3 milliamps, that this thing's going to last well over, what is that, 902 days. I mean, that's got to be what, 2.5 years. Let's see, divided by 365, yeah, 2.47. So 2.5 years before the current draw from that remote control will actually drain this battery. So I think it's safe to say leaving this connected and leaving it on all the time is not going to cause any issues or problems. And will it kill it? No, it won't. So I appreciate you guys watching the video, and if you haven't already, subscribed. I got a lot of content coming up. Working on the deer stand down there. We're working on cleaning all the property up, and I'm always mowing. Hopefully the temperatures will be cooling down. The days are definitely getting shorter, and I won't be mowing as much, so we'll have a lot more cool projects that we're doing. And I have upgraded some of my video equipment to try to be able to give you guys some better looking and better sounding content. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.